How's it going, Bespoke community? I am Dr. Jeremy Schumacher, physical therapist here at Bespoke Treatments in San Diego, and this is part 4 of our 4-part series to improve your squat, especially if you have hip discomfort. So, what we've covered so far throughout the series is how to mobilize your tissue and get more blood flow to target tissue by using a lacrosse ball and a foam roller. We talked about how to mobilize your hips and mobilize your ankles to put you in a little better position to make sure our muscles are working when we're squatting. And then in part 3, we talked about activation and how to use bands to turn on your hips and get those muscles firing. So when we squat, we know that we're going to be in good position. So today for part 4, I'm going to be going over a few tips that you can think about while you're squatting to improve your squat form. And then if you're having some discomfort, hopefully put the load on the proper muscles and proper structures to take away some of that discomfort. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is foot positioning. So sometimes someone might have immobility in the ankles, maybe some in the hips or the low back, and that's going to cause a poor squat. So if you're squatting down and you have a lot of trouble with mobility through your ankles, as you're working on that mobility, you can utilize a wedge like I have here. You can use a dumbbell. You can use something to put underneath your heels to put you in a better position to squat. So for this, all you would do is raise your heels up slightly. Like I said, you can use dumbbells, you can use a weight, you can use a book, whatever you have access to. And by raising your heels, it's going to put you in a little better position and take the stress away from your ankles. So when you squat down, you're really able to use those bigger muscles and take the stress away from the front of your hips and different areas that might be bothering you. So raising the back of our heels will allow us to squat in a little better position. So mess around with those foot positions to see if one's more comfortable for you. Now, a second thing you can do with your squat is there's a lot of different types of squats you can do. There's a back squat with the bar on your back. There's a front squat. There's a goblet squat where you hold a kettlebell out in front of you. And there's a body weight squat. There's multiple different ways you can squat, and some of them might be easier, some of them might be harder for you. So really finding the type of squat that is advantageous to you to where you don't feel hip discomfort, but you're still getting that strength through your legs that you're looking for is extremely important. And if you're not sure what that progression is, you always want to make sure you're checking in with a physical therapist, a strength conditioning specialist, or a medical professional that can give you a little bit better guidance on what that movement pattern should look like. Okay? Last tip for improving your squat, especially if you're having some hip discomfort, is to film yourself while you're squatting or utilizing a mirror or a coach to watch you squat. What this will do is it'll help point out some asymmetries. Maybe you're squatting and you're shifting to one direction, or you're squatting and you're bending too far forward with your trunk. It's really hard to feel those things as it's happening. So by filming yourself or by looking in the mirror or having someone watch you, it's a lot easier to make sure that movement pattern is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, so those top 3 things and tips to improve your squat form is 1, adjusting your foot position by raising your heels as you're working on your ankle mobility to make sure you're getting into a good position. 2, finding a type of squat that is advantageous for your body and your goals to make sure that hip discomfort is not holding you back. And lastly, to watch your squat. Whether it's filming, using a mirror, or having someone else watch you to make sure that squat is exactly what you're looking for. Okay? So to recap everything we've gone over in this past series, 1, we want to improve blood flow to those target tissues in the feet and our legs using foam rollers and lacrosse balls. 2, we want to improve joint mobility through our hips and our ankles to make sure we're moving properly throughout the squat. 3, we're using bands to activate the muscles that we know are going to stabilize our hips and our pelvis while we're squatting. And then lastly, using different tips, different techniques while you're squatting to make sure you're really benefiting from the movement, you're taking yourself away from getting that hip discomfort, and you're maximizing the results that you're getting while you're squatting. So if you have any questions with anything that I've gone over in this 4-part series, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to get you in here, take a look at your squat, and get you moving a little bit better so you can get back to what you love doing.